Hello, this is Joshua Safner. Just want to give an update, a little bit more clarity in this video. But just before I start talking what I'm going to talk about, just want to say a little bit about my background so you actually know who I am and why I have been such a loud voice regarding the cover-up at North Valley Baptist Church in Santa Clara, California. So in 1975, the church started. And 6 months later, Pastor Jack Trieber came to pastor that church. Pastor Trieber attended Maranatha Baptist College back in the day, and that's located in Watertown, Wisconsin. And that's now the name has changed. It's called Maranatha Baptist University. So I live about 2 or 3 miles away from that place where Pastor Trieber went to Bible college. I've been on the campus. I've been in the gym. There's a lot of good people that go to that college, that attend that college. So this is nothing against that. Just give a little bit more history on this situation. So my dad found North Valley Baptist Church, tried a couple churches. I believe his third church he found was North Valley Baptist Church in Santa Clara, California. My dad was in the Navy, went to Moffett Field. So the church started in 1975. 6 months later, Pastor Jack Trieber came. And then 6 months after that, then my dad came to North Valley Baptist Church and stuck for a long time. My dad drove a bus. He did everything. And at a few years later, maybe 7 years later, he decided to go to Hyles-Anderson College, and he was newly married. I was about 5 months old, and so then we went to First Baptist Church, Hammond, Indiana. The college is called Hyles-Anderson College, and I was there for about 7.5 years. And then we moved back, and when we moved back, that's when, of course, my dad got involved and stayed there, and we've been back and forth. My father does not attend North Valley Baptist Church right now because he doesn't live in the San Francisco Bay Area. He lives in Redding, California with my mom, and currently I have a family member that attends North Valley Baptist Church in Santa Clara, California. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of the backdrop on that. In addition, I want to clarify about me taking a loud stand against the cover-up at North Valley Baptist Church, as I have reached out to a lot of North Valley Baptist Church members, staff members, deacons, deacons' wives. I've reached out to a lot of them. I have a lot of contacts, a lot of relationships from that church. I left North Valley Baptist Church, give or take, when I was age 32. And so I got to know a lot of people throughout the years of growing up there. And so some of the responses that I've given back are being blocked. Maybe a response back, you don't know what you're talking about. Why do you care? You're not at this church anymore. But also, I've found some diamonds in the rough. And there are some people, many people, that have their eyes wide open and are talking about and having this conversation about, about predators in the church. And if it's not dealt with and it gets covered up, then it grows, magnifies. So I have had a lot of really, really good contacts. And just because I've been blocked and people haven't responded doesn't make me stop, okay? Because when all the truth gets revealed, everybody is going to want to know who on the church staff, who of the deacons, and who of the church members were quiet and didn't say anything. It will affect you that are quiet later on. It will affect you in the church that you were quiet when it came to sexual abuse cover-up of minors and children. And when you go to work, people are going to know that you're from that church. And they're going to ask you why you were quiet. and they'll find out. I get this a lot. Why do you care? Well, I was born into North Valley Baptist Church. This affects me because my childhood, I had really good memories at North Valley Baptist Church, great memories, and I had bad memories because there's people there. There's people anywhere. Doesn't matter what church you go to. If you leave North Valley Baptist Church, there's going to be the good and the bad. So when I grew up as a child there, we lived there in Santa Clara, California, and I had childhood relationships. I went to the Christian school there. Sometimes I was financial withdrawn because we couldn't pay the church, the school bill, and times I had to go to public school. But I built relationships there, even though I was not popular. I was not good at sports at the time, and I found out later that childhood friends, many of them, were abused by church predators there at North Valley Baptist Church. And then as I got older and I became a Sunday school teacher for many years, and then later, I didn't know at the time, but then I found out that my students that I taught, give or take 8th graders, 9th graders, they were taken advantage and preyed upon. And I didn't know about that. I didn't know what they were going through at the time, but a lot of them had these secrets that they were trying to, that they were really hurting inside, and I didn't know that. Something that I learned maybe, 5-7 years ago was how church predators work. And this has a relationship to North Valley Baptist Church in Santa Clara, California, but also First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana, and a lot of other churches. This can happen in any church. But basically, the predator builds relationships with minors and children and with the parents, and then they isolate the child. Not right away. They have to build a relationship, usually with the parent. Maybe one of the parents is not in the equation. And then they build that relationship. They spend a lot of time with them. And while they're spending time with them, kind of like a piano teacher could with a student, and there's a lot of good piano teachers out there. So, there's one bad one in 500 piano teachers. But they build that relationship. They spend time with them. What they do is they start grooming them. They start touching them on a regular basis. They start testing them and seeing if they can go a little bit further of what they're talking about. And through time, these predators, they're skilled, and they do illegal things to these minors or to these children, and so then all of a sudden this child is confused. They don't know what's going on. Again, they were just born. I mean, their brain is not like a 30-year-old brain or a 40-year-old brain or 50-year-old brain like some of these predators are much older, skilled, know what they're doing. And these children, these minors, they're confused, they're scared, they feel guilty because of the acts they committed with these predators, and they feel ashamed. They feel like no one's going to believe them because, again, these relationships that they're building and doing illegal acts are one-on-one. No one sees it. So that's why after time, it really takes an army of survivors to rise up and start going to the police and reporting that predator. And usually the police department can't just prosecute and arrest somebody on one person coming forward when there's a big gap in time. If something happens right away, like you always will hear pastors like, there's a predator in the church, we're going to call the cops right away. Yeah, it's like one of your kids goes over to the park and some random person does something illegal to your child or someone's child. Yeah, of course they call it. But all of a sudden, when it's somebody in the church that has a high up status, they're a deacon, they're a Sunday school teacher, they're a staff member, or maybe they're a big giver, somebody that's semi-important, it seems like some of these church leaders will cover that up because they don't want everybody around them to find out that they actually have sinners in their church. And something as grievous as this can actually happen in a church. So it's really, really sad about what these survivors that are younger kids and minors, as they grow up, what they're going through. They want to keep it quiet. They want to keep it a secret until the rest of their life. A lot of them do. They get up into 50s, 60s, 70s, and they never tell anybody. And then there is a lot of people that they study, they realize what happened to them, and they realize it was not their fault. It was illegal, and they were young. And when you're young, you're naive, you don't know everything, and then you have someone much older than you that's skilled, taking advantage of you. So anyway, that can happen at any church, but that is specifically happening at North Valley Baptist Church and also First Baptist Church of Hammond. Some people don't realize that almost nowadays, every family or extended family has a minor child predator in their family. Like, you should not be hiding your family members, okay? I myself have I have somebody in my family, my extended family, that has already been to jail a couple times, and for doing these horrible acts. And now they're out of jail, and we're watching that family member. So again, some people think you should throw away the key to a predator and never let them out. But let me ask you something. If your child commits these horrible acts, would you feel the same way? And so a lot of people will say that, throw away the key, and then it happens to their family members, and they do the complete opposite. They hide it. They don't tell anybody. They send their son, their daughter, their brother, their sister, their parents, if they're in leadership, they send them out, send them to a different state or something like that, instead of dealing with the problem. So again, you'll when you cover it up, I said in a previous video that maybe like 30 to 40 people, if you don't cover it up, maybe 30 to 40 people find out about what your family member did, okay? Or somebody in your church did, okay? Maybe 30 or 40 people, possibly, right? But when you cover it up, and you cover it up, and you cover it up, then all of a sudden, sooner or later, that predator, they don't just stop. They'll cry, ask for forgiveness, but because they never got caught, they never had consequences, then they continue doing it and doing it and doing it. Just like your child. If you keep letting your child talk back to you, or you let your child get away with stealing things, then they're going to start stealing, at the store, and then maybe a bank, and it's just going to get larger. So with these predators, if they're not dealt with, then they'll keep going and keep going and keep going until they get caught. And then all of a sudden, they'll get arrested. Any scandal or cover-up that has been going on for years and years and years, that always makes a bigger story. So again, your relative, your church member gets arrested, boom, you deal with it. I don't even know if the church, the local news will even report on it. But if you cover things up and cover things up and cover things up, then it becomes a massive scandal, a massive cover-up, and yes, the local news sooner or later will report on it, and then everybody in your city will know. So instead of 40 to 50 people knowing, it could be thousands. Again, when everything comes out regarding North Valley Baptist Church, the local news will report on it. And in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's 9 million people there. So the word will get out. And so you can't cover it up. Let me give you an example, or a story real quick. Is when I attended Golden State Baptist College, one of my friends that attended Golden State Baptist College in Santa Clara, California, later on, when he moved back home, not in California, he started doing illegal things on the internet and watching illegal things. Well, his brother caught him doing that. And instead of his brother covering him up and covering up the situation, his brother called the police. the police arrested him. I don't even know how long he went to jail, but he didn't go to jail for a long time. And guess what? You probably will never know who I'm talking about because it was dealt with. Now, again, if he commits more acts, absolutely, it's going to get out more. But my point I'm trying to make here is when you cover this up, it's going to get so much bigger. Everybody's going to know your family member. So I caution you to heed the advice is to deal with the situation and do not cover up your family member, your church member, your relatives. Some of you pastors, I do have a lot of pastors that do interact with me, and you're gonna someday get in a hard situation. One of your members' kids or members that is very faithful and has influence in your church is going to be doing something very illegal, and it's up to you. If you covered them up, you're probably going to go to jail with them someday. So I would do what's right, and if the church doesn't like it and you have to go to a different church to be a pastor because that church didn't like you taking a stand for what is right, and they were really angry at you because you didn't cover up this horrible sin of child sexual abuse and also of minors, then you need to leave that church and go to a different church, or maybe just don't become a pastor at that time. Something you need to do is whenever these stories come out about the sexual abuse of minors and children at North Valley Baptist Church or First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana, what I would advise you to do is send an email to your deacon, send an email to your staff member. What you can do, don't send them the link, but copy and paste the article, put it in the body of an email, and send it to your deacon, send it to your staff member, or maybe send it to other influential people in the church. So there definitely needs to be an audit that you raise the alarm on these situations, or you send an email with this stuff in the body of the email and you're asking questions. So again, I grew up in North Valley Baptist Church. I understand, and First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana, and all the churches that are connected to them in that network. I understand it is not okay to ask questions. You're not really allowed to ask questions, right? You don't want, they teach you cannot question leadership, right? Tony Hudson brings up the preaching sermon of Elijah, I think it is, and how some boys were making fun of him, right? And then they were dealt with. So anyway, I would say that when these things come up, we got Norland Macias. He's in jail right now. He's already been allegedly accused of taking advantage of 5 North Valley Baptist Church kids that have actually came forward and testified. There's a lot more, but so far 5 have come forward, and that has already made the news. There's already articles. There was a press release from the attorney's office in San Jose. Copy and paste that, send it to your deacon. I don't have all the deacons' email addresses, and I don't have all the staff members' emails, but I have emailed deacons and church staff. So it's up to them to do what's right. A lot of them will be showing up to court in the next 1 to 10 years, and they will have to give an account under oath of the information that they know about, even if it's a rumor within the church. Because of their position of being a deacon or a staff member, they need to report things. And I understand in other churches, the elders, they have a little bit more leadership. With deacons, I always heard pastors preaching the deacons are just servants. But when it comes down to it, deacons, you're actually a board, okay? And I know right now you don't have any power, but sooner or later, when the news reports that your church covered up minor and child sexual abuse, then you will also be on the hook. So you better be loud about this, and you better voice your opinion, because when it comes down to it, people are going to know who's quiet and who is loud. And that is why I am so loud, because when everything comes down to it and all the truth is exposed, they're not going to be able to say I was quiet or my brother was quiet, okay? And, I implore you that are watching this, pastors, North Valley Baptist Church members, people around the country, to say something or do something. And even former church members of the churches that I have brought up, you can email in. And I know you're not a member anymore, but if you really care about the people that attend that former church that you went to, and there's this cover up, you can send emails too, and keep those emails too. Use your voice. Do not use physical harm, vandalism. I found out that in Santa Clara there's a realtor there, and somebody was writing predator or pedophile on the sign of that realtor. I'm not for that, okay? I'm for using your voice. So again, it's actually more effective for you to tell people and say, hey, that realtor right there, have you Googled him yet? Because you really need to Google him and dig into it a little bit and find out what he's about. So again, use your voice, warn people that you know, send emails to people that you know, send text messages, all that. But use your voice. Do not use physical harm. Do not use vandalism. Don't use any of that, okay? Justice will always be carried out. And as a predator is much stronger and wiser than a minor and a child, the rules will reverse. And as that child and minor get older and wiser, their voice will be unstoppable. And as that predator picked on a little child and a minor, that predator, as they get older and they get weaker, they will be sent to prison. And when they get sent to prison, they will no longer be strong, because people in prison are not weak, but they don't tolerate predators in prison. So lastly, if something's happened to you and you were at North Valley Baptist Church, Santa Clara, California, or First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana, or you're up in Gaylord, Michigan, or you're in other places in California or throughout the United States, if something's happened to you and somebody has taken advantage of you and preyed upon you, groomed you, all this when you were a minor or you're a child, go to the police. So wherever the incident happened, so I'm going to use the Bay Area as an example. If the illegal act happened in San Jose, you have to go to the San Jose police. If the act happened in Morgan Hill or Milpitas or Santa Clara or Palo Alto or wherever, Campbell, then go to that police department and report it and let them know, hey, this person that has done this great harm on me, they were a member of North Valley Baptist Church. So there could be a chance that that member of North Valley Baptist Church also did that to other people in other different cities. And so all these police reports will be going on with different predators, okay? And also these predators that weren't dealt with and were sent to another church and another state, right? So the youth pastor in the 90s from North Valley Baptist Church, he got sent to Colorado. Well, he was in Colorado, then he came to Rockford, Illinois. And then he came back to North Valley Baptist Church in Santa Clara, California, and got a job and made a lot of money, okay? He got moved around a lot, okay? So potentially when predators move around, they have victims and survivors everywhere they have been, okay? So my point I'm trying to make is report it to the city where it happened, let them know what the connection is, because sooner or later, the FBI will move in, because the FBI holds a federal jurisdiction, and they will work with the local jurisdictions and the local police departments to gather and bring everything together, okay? And again, I know that there was people on staff at North Valley Baptist Church, and now they moved to Washington. Now they moved to Florida. Then they moved to Lemon Grove, California, San Diego, California. Now they're in Texas. I know that there's predators in Wisconsin, in the state that I am, okay? But what I'm waiting for, because I can't do anything, what I am waiting for and encouraging other people to do is to realize what happened to them as a child, what happened to them as a minor, and then go to the police department, and hopefully other people are going to the police department, and later on justice can be served. Because again, like I said, sometimes it takes an army of survivors to go to the police department and tell their voice, and then finally the police department can arrest them and they can be sent to trial. Because if the police department just has one or two people, kind of push to get justice, and one or both of them back out of it and not go ahead with the trial, like the survivors, they don't show up to trial to be the witness, and then the police department can't do anything. So that's why the police department, many times when there's a big time lapse, they have to wait for more victims, more survivors to report and be willing to testify against the predator. So anyway, hopefully you're armed with some information. Again, I really care about the people that I grew up with, and I need to share my voice, and I hope you will do the same.